The finance documents are used to ensure that the exporter can receive full and timely payment for the shipment. These documents are usually issued by banks or exporters. These include: Number 1. Application form for international money transfer. Number 2. Drafts. Number 3. Application for documentary LC. Number 4. Letter of credit. As some of these documents will be discussed in details in the following chapters, the subsequent discussion will be mainly about what should be contained in these documents, followed by some samples, so that you can have a general idea about these documents. Let's come to number 1, application form for international money transfer. When cash in advance or open account is used, payment may be effected by transferring money through banks. Thus, the overseas buyers need to complete the relevant application form for international money transfer. This kind of form is usually request to a bank to make an international money transfer on the remitter's behalf. In other words, an overseas buyer instructs a bank in the buyer's country to transfer an amount of money to an exporter's bank by MT, TT, or DT. Now, a sample of application form is shown here for your reference. Let's come to number 2, drafts. In the collection method of payment for goods, a draft is always drawn upon by the exporter to get paid. The exporter gets payment against the delivery just by a draft for the sum agreed as settlement in the export contract. By using a draft with other shipping documents through the banking system, an exporter can ensure greater control of the goods, because until the draft is paid or accepted by the overseas buyers, the good cannot be released. Let's come to number 3, application for documentary LC. This is the form used by the buyer to request his or her bank to open a documentary LC in favor of the seller. It is used to authorize a bank to open a letter of credit. The following information is always required in application. Method of advice: through airmail or cable. Types of credit: whether the LC is irrevocable or revocable. Date of expiry: applicant's name and address, beneficiary's name and address. Advising, paying, or confirming bank. The amount: whether partial shipment is allowed. Trade terms: description of goods, price per unit, documents required, bank charges, and the signature. Now, let's come to number 4, letter of credit. Letter of credit is a document issued by the importer's bank, stating its commitment to honor a draft or otherwise pay. On presentation of specific documents by the exporter within a stated period of time, as one of the most important finance documents used in international trade, accuracy in the content of a LC is of vital importance. Usually, an exporter will be advised of the opening of LC well before the shipment, so that he could have enough time to check the details contained in it. The details listed here are the ones that require special attention. When an LC is opened by the buyer or checked by the seller, they are method of device, AML or cable, type of credit, whether the LC is irrevocable or revocable, date of expiry, document required, applicant's name and address, beneficiary's name and the address, advising paying or confirming bank, the amount, draft presented under the credit must be presented for payment, negotiation, and acceptance. Allow partial ship or not, port of shipment and port of discharge. The most widely used type of credit in the international trade is the irrevocable letter of credit, which cannot be changed or cancelled without the consent of both the importer and the exporter. In a confirmed irrevocable letter of credit, the confirming bank adds its irrevocable commitment to pay the beneficiary, that is, the exporter. The confirmation is an additional guarantee of the payment. Let's take an irrevocable letter of credit, for example. In an irrevocable letter of credit, the importer's bank agrees to the exporter that the exporter will get paid if it can prove it has shipped the proper good by providing the corresponding documents required by the letter of credit. And here, exporters like letters of credit because the advance assurance of payment ensures the seller that it will not waste time preparing or shipping an order to a buyer who ultimately refuse to accept or pay for the goods. Now, let's come to an irrevocable letter of credit. It cannot be amended or cancelled without the consent of all parties. The terms letter of credit and documentary credit means that the same thing. Exporters, importers, and bankers in some parts of the world, like the United States or Asia, tend to use the term letter of credit or the abbreviation of LC, when in other areas, like Europe, people prefer to use documentary credit or DC.